Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BTB Movie Club podcast. My name is Dan Sears. We hope you enjoyed today's movie discussion. Thanks for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BTB Movie Club. My name is Tim Larson, here with several friends. One of them on vacation wearing a cool hat. We'll leave him to say whether he wants to admit to that or not. This is movie number 222. It is 2024's Sing Sing from A24, picked by Dan Sears. Dan, take the conversation away. Let's talk about Sing Sing.
All right. I was just looking a few weeks ago at the movies that were nominated for Oscars. I just wanted to check them out, see what was out there, and I saw this one, and the story looked, kind of interesting, something I would want to watch and know a little bit more about. So that's why I decided to do it. So we can jump right in. So since Tim and Aaron are apparently the criers in the group, according to Tim.
Oh yeah, true. I'll admit it.
Yeah. We'll save the criers for last.
Oh, nice.
Yep. And we'll go with Matt. What'd you think of Sing Sing?
All right. I watched this yesterday before I fell asleep, early. I'd never seen it before. Thought it was pretty good. I didn't really understand. I didn't look at anything. I just turned it on because it was free on Max. So I didn't look at anything. I didn't even look at the description. I just turned it on and said, okay, let's go. So I did not know what it was about. So I didn't realize sort of the background on it. So I thought after watching it, I thought it was cool that they used the actual guys from the program. I thought that was really a cool move, and they did a great job. I mean, none of them are going to win Oscars, but I thought they were believable as I don't know why I would say regular actors. Of course, they're just actors, I guess. But just coming from a program like that, you might expect some, rough around the edges kind of people. And they did great. I wouldn't call it's not super plot driven. It's like I don't know how much of his story was embellished for the movie. I would imagine not a whole lot, because there wasn't a lot to it. So like I said, it's a little light on plot. I was a little confused on what we were watching there for a little bit, but again, after the fact, knowing everything I know, I kind of get what they were doing with it. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the concept of them doing this with inmates. I think, it's one of those things they showed the stats, I think, or maybe I read the stats, I can't remember, but about how much it helps the process for some of these guys. And especially a place like Sing Sing. Sing Sing's kind of got a reputation. I don't know much about maximum security prisons, but Sing Sing's a name I've heard. So it's got a little bit of a reputation
Yeah.
for, being, that max security type of people who go in there. And again, I don't know how accurate I know they didn't film it all in there, so I don't know how accurate the setting was, but it didn't look like a torture chamber or anything, which was nice to see. And these guys obviously are good behavior guys who, they got a little bit more leeway. They're meeting with people outside of the cells and stuff like that. But yeah, I enjoyed the watch. I probably don't need to watch it again. Like I said, inspiring story. I like the guy, the main guy, Divine G, as they called him. Thought he was an interesting character and um, kind of a fish out of water kind of thing, and sort of spreading that to other people. I wasn't super thrilled with the other um,
Divine Eye.
Divine Eye. That seemed a little forced, but again, it was an hour and 45-minute movie, hour and 47.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't really maybe have time to develop that, but he went from like pretty quick movie time wise to the drug dealing, super tough, I'm gonna beat your ass for $500 into the Shakespearean actor. And
So
there's clearly,
let me ask you a question real quick. Do you think the actor didn't portray the character very well?
I don't, it wasn't him. Was it him?
Yeah,
Is
it
it
was
the real
actually
guy?
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to
Yeah.
set you up there.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think everybody was themselves except for Divine G, right? He was like one of
There
the,
was a couple.
There's a handful.
yeah,
Mike
A small
wasn't.
group, but
oh,
most
that's
of them
right.
were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so again, yeah, I obviously don't know. So it just, as I was watching before I knew what I knew, I was like, man, there had to be some more time in there. And I'm sure there was. Maybe I didn't catch the time jump. I was, on meds and stuff trying to watch it. So maybe I missed that there was a lot of time that went by. Maybe there was some dialogue or some exposition that explained that away. But he went real quick from I'm gonna beat your ass for $500
Hmm.
to I'm gonna get up on the stage and do Hamlet. And
Yeah,
so I thought, and then he ended up being one of the more closer people to Divine G,
yeah.
at the end and understood maybe a little bit more what he was going through. So again,
So a quick question for you on that.
yeah,
Do you think in that scene where he's trying to shake that guy down for 500, was he acting? Because I think
great.
Divine G, thought that he was acting
Yeah, and,
doing
and
that.
maybe that's the case. And if that's the case, it makes more sense, right? He has to act like that to survive in whatever environment he's kind of put himself in or gotten put in. And yeah, for sure. I just feel like a guy who is so worried about how he looks, and then he goes and joins this troop, and you can even see it in the first couple meetings. He's kind of just sitting to the side and trying to act all tough, and to then be quoting Shakespeare. I don't know. It's just, again, now that I know what I know after the fact, it probably makes a little more sense. And to your point, Dan, maybe that's it. Maybe it's, that was his coping mechanism. That's how he got through. And so, yeah, it was a good movie. I can see why it got nominated for some stuff. All the guys did a great job. Um, yeah, and like I said, I probably don't need to watch it again, but I would definitely recommend it. If that means anything, right? Like if somebody goes, "Hey, should I watch this movie?" I'd say, "Yeah, you should watch it. It deserves a watch. It definitely is an interesting story and inspiring story." Yeah, so going first is tough, but there you go. I can chime in later. I'm sure.
Well, let me ask a
All right.
follow-up question. Before you fall asleep from your meds, you said earlier that you didn't understand what you were watching as you started watching it. I went through the same experience. I did
Mhm.
not know what I was getting into, and I started watching this thing, and I'll talk about that when it's my turn. But what movie did you think you were watching? Like before you figured out what's going on, what did you think might happen with this plot that you were, sensing or looking forward to?
So I did sense that Divine G and like the arts or writing was gonna have something like he was gonna save himself through the art or whatever, or save other people through the art. But as it got farther into, and he kind of did, right? But I had no idea it was gonna be that, like the divine I, divine G thing is what I didn't see coming at all. As soon as they started like showing him with other people, it's like, oh, he's gonna run this, and it's gonna be a big inspirational, feel good story about how these guys in jail put on a show and learned something about themselves and rehabilitated, right? Like that's what I thought it was. And to a certain degree it is. That is what they're doing, but it's a little bit deeper than that, obviously. So yeah, so that's what I thought at first was, okay, this guy's going to be inspirational to these people, and he's going to get them rehabilitated through the arts. I guess if I would have thought about it for 5 seconds, I would have thought, okay, something bad's going to happen, and you know, because that's always in those kinds of stories. So yeah, I think that's
Mhm.
what I thought at first. And I think I was not completely wrong, but I definitely wasn't completely right on some of those too.
All right. Okay, cool. Yeah, for me, the beginning was a little it was a little odd because it like they don't give you any backstory. It's just
Yeah.
like they just start into the movie and just go. And it's kind of like, who is this guy and why is he in prison? And but they eventually, answer
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Wait, and to be honest, that's fine. I think we talk about this. I sent that article once. Aaron talks about this sometimes. Like, I don't need to be hit over the head with it. Like, I didn't feel like I missed it because of the movie, right? Or like I'm too dumb to figure it out. It was a little like, what is, unexpected. The turn it took was unexpected for me. That's all.
All right. Okay, thanks for your thoughts there. All right, Hilty, you're up.
So I've seen this before, which is kind of a small miracle because the the release schedule for this and just trying to find a time to go see this was almost impossible because A24, I don't think they really knew what they had with this, which cards on the table. I really like this movie. This was in my top 5 last year for
Mm.
2024. And I think, Matt, I do agree with you. It's not because of the story. It's definitely not because of the story because um, the story almost feels almost documentary style
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
It feels a little like day in the life type of thing. The main reason why this made my top 5 was because of the performances, and it starts with Coleman Domingo, who I love Coleman Domingo in a lot of the things that he's in. The first thing I saw him in was Euphoria, and he doesn't have a small part, or he has a pretty small part in Euphoria, but he's fantastic in it, and he's really great. And slowly but surely, all the other things that I've seen him in, he's really good. And I've cards on the table, I thought that he was probably the best performance in 2024 because as much as I did enjoy Adrian Brody in The Brutalist and all the other performances that were nominated for Best Actor, I just don't think that it touches what Coleman Domingo brought to the table with it, which
Yeah.
it's it's a bit of a combination of I'm trying to help these individuals while also trying to help myself, and I believe in the system, and then you find out what happens when that belief in the system gets, or the belief in the group gets lost. And it's not so much because of something that he did, it's because of just all the outside forces that are around, which that that clemency hearing or that parole hearing was hard to watch for me because it's like this sucks because they're taking something that he loves a lot and something that he is, made a very important part of his existence in prison, and then they try to flip it in a way that they want to use that against him. And it's like, oh, that's not the point of it. It's like, are you acting in this hearing? And that's that sucks, and that's for some people that's the justice system for you right there, but
It's
for
like
other,
there's a total setup.
oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
set up all the way. It's terrible.
yeah. So um
I kind of
so
liked it. I thought it was slick when the lady did that. You
Mhm.
know, well, and not like slick in a good way,
Right.
but like smarmy slick. And it reminded me vaguely of, or made me think of Shawshank Redemption, where um, Red's
Doug.
character
Yeah.
is going through
Morgan
and
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman saying everything correct, saying everything right, every parole that he gets, and finally on the last one, he just like,
Fuck
you
you.
don't
This
even
is
know what this
stupid. Blah
means.
blah blah. On there.
Rubber stamp it. Yep.
I don't know. And I know it wasn't the same, setup or whatever, but like her just being like a slick, um, young lady where he tells the guy, in his last one where it's like, this is just a reason for you to put on a suit, young man, or makes reference to how young he is. I don't know. To me, it was just like, oh, and they never do show like, does he just serve as full time? No, because they show him with a thin. I'm sorry, I'll wait till my turn. But they never show what he says at the last one.
Yeah.
Whichever one gets him out. And maybe it is very similar to what Morgan Freeman says. So they're like, yeah, we don't want to redo this.
But they show some gray in his hair though, which kind of
Right. Oh yeah,
suggests it's been a while.
it's I think I had read that it had been at least 3 or 4 years
Hmm.
after that performance, which I don't know, to me it felt a little bit like, huh, okay, we're picking this performance because it obviously had the most impactful, or it had the most impact to this particular individual, because, and I'm kind of glad that they did it that way versus, hey, we're just going to take you through a bunch of these other performances, because then it would have felt a little bit kind of like what Matt was talking about in terms of what you would expect from a movie like this, where you kind of think that this movie is about the program and Divine G and how he's going to go through and he's going to rehabilitate a bunch of people. He's going to get through to people and soften them and make sure that all these individuals they get to share their feelings and all that shit. But that's not completely what the story is trying to tell you or trying to do. Um, I think if anything, this is just trying to trying to describe what the power of the arts can be for a particular group of people. And it's not interested in the story or anything like that. It's just supposed to just showcase what theater and what the arts can do for a group of people, especially those who are in a shit situation and that they've lost everything. So I did appreciate that a lot. I Tim, you said that this was released in 2024. It was uh,
Thought so.
this actually showed up at like Sundance or one of the or the music movie festivals in 2023,
Okay.
and A24 was the first one to grab it. This also doesn't feel like a typical A24 movie, or
Agreed.
to me it doesn't.
Agreed.
Um, but also at the end of the day, I will never forgive A24 for the way that they handled the release for this, and also the way that they propped up The Brutalist, which is all accounts a great movie. It's 3.5 hours long, and it's a great movie, but I don't know. I think that they would have had a better shot if they would have propped Sing Sing up a little bit more and they would have campaigned a little bit harder for it. And I'm just trying to find any reason why A24 would do that. Because it just felt like a shitty thing to do. Like this movie was made for dirt cheap. There's
Mhm.
not
2
it was
million.
it was
2 million.
filmed
19
well,
days.
it was filmed in a very short amount of time,
Yeah.
and all the performers they took equal cut of everything. So maybe A24 was like, well, this isn't going to be very profitable, so we're just going to sweep this away. But I don't know. I really enjoyed this for the performances alone. Um, just some of the gut punch moments, like Coleman Domingo or Divine G just breaking down during the dress rehearsal, where he's like, "What are we doing here? What is happening right now? Like, you can take five all you want, but this fucker's not going to know his lines anymore any better." But which is kind of weird because that's why you do a dress rehearsal, right? You iron a bunch of this shit out, and then eventually you get to a point where you just you just got to trust that everybody steps up and actually does it. And by all accounts, that's what happened, but we don't get to see any of that because that would just make the movie so much longer. And I will be the first to admit this play makes no sense at all. Like I I'm right there with some of the guys who are saying like, what kind of time travel are we talking about? Are we talking wormhole? Are we talking, all of that? That's the stuff that I want to know. And this, they no, nobody's interested in trying to figure
Right.
that part out.
No.
So,
Yeah.
um,
He
I
wrote it in
also
one weekend, you know.
he wrote it in one weekend. I also failed to understand how this is remotely a comedy with characters like Freddy Krueger and a gladiator and such. But hey, whatever, right? I'd be very curious to see what actually happened during the play. But again, I don't think that this movie cares that much about the actual details of the play. Just my shut up nerd is like, come on, like I need to know this stuff, but whatever. Overall, Dan, like great pick. I love this movie. I told you that from the last week when you picked it. So good pick. I liked it, and I will
All right.
shut up now. Also, I cry at movies too. So if you want to lump me in this group as well, I'm good with that.
Well,
Welcome
okay.
aboard.
I mean, you didn't state that though. Tim just said him and
Welcome
Aaron were
aboard.
the only
I
That's
didn't.
right.
criers.
I also have been known to tear up at a movie or two.
Oh, everybody wants on the bandwagon now.
Lord of the Rings, man, hits me every time.
Hmm
Fair.
Soon as one guy says it, the other guys are like, "Hey, I cried too."
Lord of the Rings, because it was so long. You're like, when is this going to get over?
How dare you? How dare you?
I didn't realize that I had to, put that on my application to be in the group that I cry at
Well,
movies, but
well,
good
late
to
to
know
the party.
moving forward.
All right. Okay. Thanks for your input there. Tim, you're up. I feel like Aaron already talked, but he was talking about the other movie. But
He's
anyway,
just
go
warming
ahead,
up.
Tim.
He's just warming
Okay.
up.
We'll give Aaron a break.
Absolutely love this movie. Like, I was so many emotions came up while watching this movie, and including some struggling with preconceived notions about people that I don't know. Like I'm starting to watch characters that are inmates, and I'm starting to judge them on what I've seen in other movies or know about people that I shouldn't be judging. So that's why I asked Matt earlier, what kind of movie did you think you were about to watch? I was very sure that Divine Eye was going to stab somebody and kill somebody, and that's the way the plot was going. There was no doubt in my mind that they made a mistake bringing this guy into their group because they had a good thing and they were inviting something that's tainted into their group and it was going to create some kind of drama. I had no idea that this was an actual true story. I was just watching this unfold and I thought for sure something bad was going to happen between those two dudes because I had put a theme on the first half of this movie as thespian turf wars. And in the second half, I there's a theme of tough guy brothers in arts. Like I was just like, what the fuck's going on here? Because I didn't know it was a true story. So I brought in my own preconceived notions and was watching this play out and thought for sure that when they had that one conversation about don't bring me in a dark corner again because it makes me fucking nervous and I've got a knife in my belt. I was like, and as he Divine Eye was less and less comfortable in some of these group situations, I was like, they're pushing this guy into a vulnerability that he cannot afford to have as an inmate. He's going to stab somebody. He's going to kill somebody. It's going to wreck the whole thing. And I could not have been more wrong. And I loved that I was that wrong about it. And I hated myself for being that wrong about it at the same time. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. I was angry with myself for prejudging all these characters. And then when I found out that this is real shit and these were real people and this is what really happened, I was like, oh, so I'm just a terrible person for judging people that I don't even know or having any experience with. So, man, uh, I've said this many times, but I love movies that either there's something you can take away from, as almost like a life lesson, or that you get emotionally invested in. And I don't know, I think I got both of those things out of this movie. Love the fact that most of the cast that we see on film is actual former inmates that were part of this program. One of the trivia things, my favorite trivia thing that I read about this, and they don't even have that many of them, is that as they're trying out for parts, um, those are the actual audition tapes for those inmates trying to get their roles in the film. And they just took those audition tapes and put them as their auditions in the film for the parts. I fucking love that. I'm with Hilty on this. Why did you not promote this movie when you decided to distribute it? Because there's some heart and some gold in here, and I mean something that's just blatantly really fucking human about this movie. Like we've got some educators in here, and there have been some kids that when they came in my classroom, I was like, this kid's going to be an asshole. And at the end of our experience together, felt myself like more emotionally connected to that kid than any other kid in the classroom because of what we went through. And if you tap into that kind of thing, um, it's amazing what people can do. And this Divine Eye character thing makes it for me. Um, I don't think his intentions were real when he wanted to join the group. He gets into the group. He's like, wait, there's girls. I'm going to get to be around girls when I when we do rehearsals and stuff. Like, that's what I'm here for. And they're like, no, fuck you. We take this seriously. And it clearly took him a while to warm up to it. But there's a point where he switched gears and found meaning in the art of what he was doing. And it's very clear that it meant something to him. I just can't tell you how much I like this movie. Other trivia things: the guy who goes up and asks Divine G for his autograph in the cafeteria is the actual Divine G, and I think that's just beautiful. Let's see. I love the what's his name? Paul Raci plays the director. He's been nominated for an Oscar. Maybe he won an Oscar. I don't know. I could not get Al Pacino out of my mind. Everything he said, I was like, this guy sounds like he's trying to be Al Pacino. And I don't know if he's trying to sound like Al Pacino or just happens to, but I really enjoyed him in that role of, he was so patient with all these guys. When they had their breakdowns, he gave them their space. And that's just knowing your audience, So, Dan, love this movie. I have a question for Hilty. The guy that plays Divine G, his name is Coleman Domingo. You said you like Coleman Domingo in several things. One thing that I saw is he was also in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Just my question for you is, have you seen that movie?
I have.
Damn it, because I've seen that one, and that one's kind of low on everybody's radar, and I thought I might sneak one by you, but
nope. Well, the reason why you weren't going to sneak that one by me is because that was the one that Chadwick Boseman was supposed to win an Oscar for, and then Anthony Hopkins, quote unquote, stole it from him, even though Anthony Hopkins is all just as deserving as Chadwick Boseman for that Best Actor nomination and win. It's just the Academy's fault for fucking that up. So, which is too bad because Anthony Hopkins absolutely deserved that Oscar. But yeah, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Definitely check that one out if you haven't.
It's a fun movie.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's not a whole lot of people know that movie. I'm just that I talked to anyway. So that's a fun movie. Damn it, I thought I would sneak one past Hilty, but it's like I didn't even try.
You need to go with obscure movies about golf that I just hadn't watched yet. So
all right.
Is that the only movie that you haven't seen that we've done
in the group?
In the group, yeah.
Noted. Dan, back to you. Thank you for picking this. I really loved it.
Right. Okay, great. And we're going to finish off with Aaron Flashbrook.
Hey, I had to set that up right when I came. What happened to all of our, Sniper, Chipmunk, and all those names? I had to reset mine up, and I just clicked yes when it said Aaron Lashbrook.
Oh, that was only for one movie, whichever.
I don't remember changing it. But anyway, similar. Everybody coming in. Wasn't sure what I was watching at the start. Had no idea what I was coming into. Literally, I thought it was going to be a musical. Sing, sing. I had no idea. So, go ahead, Tim.
I wasn't that far off from that. I thought I was going to hear some singing too. I did.
Yeah. I did. What I'm just going to say is, from what other people said, like I thought, and I think I even said it to my mom today because she called while I was watching it. And she didn't know what A24 was, but I'm like, oh, I'm watching this A24 movie called Sing Sing. It's about the prison. And she's like, well, what's A24? And I'm like, well, it's this really cool distribution house. And they have weird, quirky little things. I think this felt to me exactly like an A24 movie. Small cast, great acting, fairly fast story, kind of, not very slick and smooth storyline. I mean, there's some clunks in it. There's, a lot of stuff that they don't spell out for you. I thought this was 100% an A24, felt right up their alley.
Did you guys, sorry, Aaron, did you guys feel tension with once Divine Eyes shows up? Like, were you guys wondering where this was going? And was it connected to the fact that it's an A24 movie? Like, maybe the fact that I saw it was A24 and I saw Divine Eyes show up is why I thought I was about to see some weird shit.
Okay, maybe that, but I'll get to it.
Hmm.
All right. So, like, talking about how it was an A24 movie, not like Tim is saying like weird shit. So I wrote when Mike was talking, all this. So do I. I wrote intent. So what I was saying there, because I was just trying to take notes while you guys were talking. What I was saying there was more of the small cast and the storyline and stuff like that. But then when Tim was talking about it, I liked it because of the preconceived notions. And it's not that I was judging people like Tim got more into. You know, he felt bad because he was judging the prisoners or judging prison, people who are in prison. I was more judging storytellers. So what I mean by that was same thing. I was expecting Divine Eye to either stab Divine G, stab somebody in the cast, stab somebody outside of the whole thing, and kind of ruin the play that way because, he's a big part and he's, now in lockdown or something like that. So the tension that actually set up, and if it's in, if it was intended, it's genius. Because if somebody was like, there's a million stories like this where the guy's going to get introduced and then he's going to be a fuck up and then he's going to ruin things and then there's going to be a redemption at the end. I'm not, if they were writing that and they're like, I'm not going to do that on purpose. And I'm going to, give them scenes where they think they know what's going to happen and it's not going to happen. And it never pissed me off, but it was great. And it set up some anxiety of, I don't want to call it lazy storytelling, but just what do you call it? Like recipe storytelling, systematic storytelling, just that we're all used to. And I loved that they never gave me that. I kept waiting for it, and I never got it. And I'm glad it was great.
Yeah.
So I wasn't judging the people in the play or the people in the story or even just prisoners in general. I was judging the stories, just thinking this was going to be another what's the word I'm trying to say?
Formulaic. Yeah.
Formulaic story. And it wasn't. And I really like that about it. And that made me think, A24, not giving you what you're expecting. Some of the other things about marketing for this. So I've watched this movie. I really like the movie. I don't know the first time I teared up. I definitely teared up when they showed that the actors were the guys.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, fuck.
Yep.
That's great. That is, it just made me so happy. But so with that said, out of the five, like, how do you market this movie? Like, who am I going to tell that's going to go watch this? And like, people, guys my age, other than you guys, I don't know if I was, but then again, I'm kind of judging again because I liked it. But, it's like, do I tell my brother-in-law? I'm pretty sure he's not going to like it. I don't know if my parents would like it. I don't know, it's different and I like it, but it's like, I don't know who I would market it towards either. And I don't know what the overall trailers would look like. And I didn't go watch them. Like I said, I had no idea what I was coming into. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really liked the way they handled. I mean, because in a story, you've got to have a down and then a redemption of some kind. It doesn't necessarily have to be a stabbing. I like how he had a breakdown. And it wasn't pointed at Divine Eye getting out. It wasn't, I mean, we kind of feel it emotionally, but he never like turned on him and said, "You're getting out. You don't deserve to, and I should because I'm not even, guilty. Um, you're a piece of shit." That never happened. It never devolved into that, and that was so great that it didn't, because at the end, if Divine Eye really came back and picked him up, if that was all part of the real story, that's great. I
Yep.
loved it. One of my favorite parts was when he's in the middle of his breakdown, or I guess it's after, and he goes and sits next to him in the shade. That conversation that I thought that was great, because it showed that flip kind of that Tim was talking about, and I think Matt even brought it up, that it was kind of fast or whatever. We don't really, we're thinking this lasted 3-4 months because they put on a play every 6 months.
Yeah.
So, they're the evolution of their friendship.
I love that.
But
I love that line that you're in that scene. He's like, "We're gonna have you put in writing that I fucking killed Hamlet."
Right. Yeah. And there's probably not even the guys in the group, there's probably nobody else in the prison who he could say that to, it was a connection over such a small thing, but an important thing. But yeah, I like that scene. But everybody pretty much covered the, Mike. I guess the one thing I didn't see coming that I should have saw coming was Mike dying.
Yeah.
The lieutenant, in The Longest Yard, and it's the best friend in a prison movie. I had no idea that was coming. But
Aaron,
so that was good, and a little subversion too. But
yeah, Aaron, to your point, like, you would expect that Mike would have died of, he was like suicidal or
Hung
something
himself.
like that.
Right.
Or maybe
you would have like, I'm not saying you specifically, I'm just saying like the audience, I'm sure they were expecting that maybe he was in trouble and maybe he knew that something was like, nope, it's just completely random. Just like,
or he's the
brain
one,
aneurysm. Yeah.
in formulaic story writing, he's the one that Divine Eye snaps on and kills. And now there's something like that. And it was just, I don't know.
So
I liked it. It was a bit different.
Okay, let's pick the storytelling apart a little bit, because the night before he has the aneurysm, he tells this story about his full name and the fact that he's got nowhere to go and he's never going to make it out. And then the next thing you know, he's gone. I seriously doubt that there's reality in the fact that that was the breakthrough conversation the night before, and then he died of the aneurysm.
Right.
Like that's some storytelling stuff that happened in this movie.
I had to watch that. I had to watch it twice because I didn't realize. Like, I saw him going through the room and like, did he die? Did I miss something?
Yeah.
And they didn't really. I mean, just the silence was the clue, but that was it.
Yeah, really, the next day conversation when they're like, getting shanked or hanging himself. I get that, but a fucking aneurysm.
Yeah.
Who sees that coming? And it's like, nobody did.
Nobody in the theater.
And then the group in general. The last thing I'll say is I like the group dynamic. Tim kind of touched on it with the director, but the stupid or silly, what they call them. They would have where they would get up and walk around, or he would say, "Okay, now imagine
exercise."
Oh,
the
exercises.
The exercises. I loved them, and it's like,
yep.
And the fact that they all bought in, it took Divine Eye a little bit, but
well,
he totally bought in.
You feel the impact of the exercises when that guy comes back and talks to all of them. Kind of just his experience of what it's like to be on the outside, and then he talks about this whole thing about him having to put down his dog, and then he like is clamoring for those exercises. And
right,
like anybody who had anybody who's played a sport, or anybody who has done anything in the arts, there are just some days where it's just like, these practices or these exercises, this is dumb, I don't want to do this, I'm choosing my attitude, and my attitude shit right now. And then there's other days where you're like, this really helps, and I should really just take this more seriously more often.
Yeah, or
Perhaps
you
we
get out there and your team's got wind and legs and the other team doesn't, and you're like, this is why he runs us, or this is what,
yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking Matt's got the pick tonight. Before we talk about Matt's movie next week, we should do some kind of exercise. So I'll come up with something. It's going to have to be, audio instead of physical.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, my camera keeps going out for some reason. But all right, is that it, Aaron?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Well, I'm glad you guys liked it. Let's see here. Yeah, there wasn't, a whole lot of trivia since it's a newer movie. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I thought at the very least that the two divines were going to have some kind of rivalry. Whether it involved physical or just them not getting along. But you really see Divine G like take the high road and say, okay, Divine I, you're gonna be Hamlet and I'll settle for something else.
I agree, Dan, but he was irked. Like he did
Oh
not
yeah.
care for it. He was definitely pissed. He was like, "Hey, let me ask you a question. Why the fuck did you just ask for a comedy and then go take my role?" Like he was not happy about it. He did.
At the audition.
Right.
Yeah.
He did
That
take
you
the high
can't get
road. I
more
agree.
you can't get more passive aggressive than that. Like,
Let me ask you
why
a fucking question. Yeah.
in his defense, got a point though
Yeah.
too. And also,
Yeah.
boy, how good was his audition for him to be like,
Yeah.
"Yep, okay,
Yeah.
this is our Hamlet versus a tried and true player in this who's done this a number of times."
Yeah. You know what I thought though was that I got to keep looking up the names because they're so funny. Divine Eye. His answer was really good. Why the fuck did you ask for a comedy and then try out for a serious role? And his answer was, comedy's hard, man. I don't know if I can pull that off. I mean, this is what I am. This is what I do. I need to take a serious role. Pretty good answer.
Yeah.
Yep.
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 All right. Yeah, I mean personally, I really like this movie. I thought that Coleman Domingo really was good. I didn't see Adrian Brody in The Brutalist, but it sure seemed like a Oscar worthy performance to me for Coleman. But 3.5 hours, is that what you said that movie is, The Brutalist?
3.5
Okay.
hours and an intermission as well.
Wow.
Like
I
a
haven't seen it
legit
either.
intermission. Yeah. It's
Wow.
good. It's really good if you could sit through it all, but yeah, it's
Is it Oppenheimer good? Which I haven't seen that either. If I was going to watch one of the two, which one should I spend my time on?
Oh, you
um
got 6.5 hours of movies worth to watch.
I said one of the two.
I would still go with Oppenheimer if I had to choose.
Hey, so guys, I got one more question about this movie. I like the guy's getting parole or getting denied for parole is I can't even imagine going through that. Like I can't imagine being in that scenario and then looking forward to this. Like Divine Eye he didn't want anything to do with it. He's like, hey, I belong here. All my people are here. I don't even know why I'm going to this meeting. And Divine G is the one giving him the advice, right? So, I mean, we all know how it played out, but when those scenes come up, that's just such a brutal thing for a human being to go through because this percentage that I think Matt brought it up at the very beginning of this conversation, 60% of people that get released get arrested again. That's quite a number, like I don't know why, and I don't know how that works out, but that's quite a number. So the people in charge of parole hearings probably have that in the back of their head, and they're probably listening to everybody going, here's some more bullshit today that I'm going to hear from somebody. But what I was wondering, and I like maybe you guys didn't, I don't know, I'm just asking, did anyone think that when Divine Eye got his parole first, that he was going to do a Brooks from Shawshank Redemption. And he'd already shown like he had a knife. Did anybody think he's to be like, I don't belong out there? And like that was the setup. Like here's when he's going to actually pull something so that he can stay back and even do theater in prison. Did anybody get that feel?
When you say Brooks hung himself, so he wasn't coming back.
Well, he did, but he tried to before Brooks got out. He pulled a knife on one of the guys, and he was trying to stay in. I was wondering if.
No, I never thought he was going to do that. I thought he was going to get out and commit a crime and be back. I thought maybe that would happen. I never thought he'd kill himself, and I never thought he was going to like.
Okay.
I think at the beginning of the movie, I think maybe that's what would have happened. But I think after he was in the RTA program, that changed him.
I like that answer, Dan.
There was a second where I did think that there was a chance. I think when he was trying to talk to G just before he had his meltdown, and G was kind of acting like a dick to him. He could have. I was thinking like, oh, is this where he gets pissed and sticks him, and now G's dead and he's still in prison, or G's in the infirmary and he's in in the play. I just kept thinking the play wasn't going to happen, right? Because Mike's dead, and G's in the infirmary, and Eyes in maximum lockup or lockdown or whatever. They can't go on. But so there was kind of a second I did think something similar to that was going to happen, but I never thought it was like, I'm afraid to go outside, so I'm going to stick the director or something like that.
Yeah, I thought if he goes back, what he's thinking is people are already waiting for me to just go get back into the life. And I'm just going to it's an endless cycle. So I might as well just stay here where I can do this. But again, I didn't know it was a real story. So I was just waiting for this plot spring to get sprung. And I was disappointed the whole time that it didn't happen. And I fucking loved it at the end because it never happened.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned the 60%. The people that reoffend that go through the RTA program is only 3%.
Right. That's amazing.
Yep.
And movie worthy. Write a movie about this story. It's movie worthy. Cool.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate all the good feedback.
Great pick, Dan. So Matt, we go to you, and it's your pick. We're all proud of you for staying awake, even though you're on several drugs.
Thank you. Yeah.
Once again, the theme here is either dealer's choice or connect to a movie from our last round. What do you have for us?
Wait, it's an either or? I thought. Oh, fine. Okay.
We have a little change up, Commish. We had a little trade. I don't know if you heard that.
Nope.
We had a little trade. Aaron's gonna pick because I'm not going to be here next week. So we swapped.
Excellent.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Cool.
You never saw the double reverse Uno, did you?
Man, that was good. You had me going. You guys didn't hear the.
You got the text. Like you can be like, no, he's
true.
the one who said spring it on.
No, wait a minute.
Let me do my NFL commissioner thing here. I'll go with at the last minute. We have a trade between the Matt Smiths and the Aaron Lashbrooks. Aaron Lashbrook he's on the clock.
All right. So, since it's just pick whatever you want.
That's okay.
It is kind of. There's two, and I didn't have a lot of time, but I didn't need a lot of time. The only thing that kind of threw a monkey wrench is Dan's picks. Dan makes me think. Dan makes me want to be a better moviegoer with what he picks. So this, I would have never watched this in a million years, and it could be the group, it could be whatever, but I think every one of Dan's picks has been, it's just weird. Good
Well, thank
weird.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I don't know how you pick them, but don't change a thing because I look forward to it. So I don't know how much I want to talk about it. I'm going to go with Whiplash. Just
Damn,
because.
damn,
Whiplash.
damn it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But the other one, the other one is more, I think probably even more artsy, and it's way newer. Like I want to say it's 21 or 22. I had heard of it and it went away. It didn't get it's got great ratings. But yeah,
You
I
can
gotta go
change
with
your pick.
Whiplash.
It's still you used to have the mic. You can do whatever you want.
No, I'm gonna pull this one off the table so we can just
So
we can move on from Whiplash.
So that's
Was that
funny.
gonna be your pick?
So first of all, thank you, Aaron, for picking tonight and short notice. I appreciate it. I will be out of town next week, so I won't be here. So that's why I asked Aaron. I actually asked Wilden first because he would have been before Aaron, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Wilden's like, maybe check with somebody else. So I was like, okay. It was fine. I gave him the option. I said I could. Anyway, so Aaron's next after Wilden, right? I didn't mess that up.
I don't know. Yeah, sure.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So anyway, so thank you for picking. And yes, hilariously, this was definitely one of the two movies I was gonna pick tonight.
Oh, that's great.
And my
Now,
reason was
Matt,
gonna be because Tim didn't let me pick it last time.
Well, for our
so
listeners,
that's my
Matt, could
that's
you
my
explain-
connection.
Could you explain the history about picking Whiplash?
Yes. So Tim didn't let me pick it last time and made me pick Casino.
That's
So
that's not
That's
not entirely
how I
accurate.
remember.
it's part of the truth.
That's accurate.
Yeah, that
yes.
seems
No.
like a broad generalization.
For the listeners, for all
Of the
eight
truth.
for all 8 of our listeners, I misunderstood the pick last time.
There's
Yeah.
like 30 of them now.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. So for all 30 of you or 40 or whatever, I misunderstood the assignment.
That's
so
correct.
I made a mistake last time and had to
Correct.
pick on the fly. So
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you were we gave you the allowance to just go with that pick anyway, and then you got stubborn about it.
well, I mean,
That's not how I remember it.
the
Oh, we
rules
can
are the
go to-
rules.
We can go to the tape.
You also get a strike in the BTB Movie Club, Matt, because you're supposed to pick from a movie that you have previously picked. And Parasite was not a movie that you have previously picked. So
Well, I didn't
There you go.
understand the rules, Tim. Since we play loosey goosey with the rules in this, I
Yeah,
can
it's
pick a
fine.
different movie if you want.
no, it's fine. I like this movie. We'll roll with it.
This is the reason I'm picking it, so this can all just stop because I don't want to hear about it anymore.
I was going to say 4 out of the 5 of us will hear it at some point.
How many of you guys have seen this movie, Whiplash?
Yes, I've seen it.
Yes.
Yes. Aaron
No.
I
I'm
haven't
all
either.
about picking stuff
and
I've
Matt.
never.
Matt, you
I
guys
actually
seen it?
haven't
All right.
either, no.
If it wasn't going to if nobody else was gonna pick it, I told Wilden like from the start, I was like, if nobody's picking Whiplash, I'm picking Whiplash at the very end. And I will find some random extra that was
Yeah.
in it that would have connected
Oh, that's great.
just to
Love it.
just get it off the table. Kind of
Love
like
it.
what Aaron was talking about.
No, but it's always been. I cry at movies. It's always been that it's been this dual thing where it's dealer's choice or connected to the other movie. So I knew going in.
So the reason
This
for
one-
that is Melo likes to have structure. He likes to
I
have
like it
a guiding something, and so I like to give options to people. I will say about this movie, we're going to have to talk about J.K. Simmons when we talk about this movie, and it's an incredible performance from him, and we will have to talk about his career because I don't know that he gets enough credit for what a great group of performances he's put out there. Just say that before we even watch it.
Agreed.
Yep.
So
Yeah, no problem.
that'll do it for episode. Hang on, let me switch my papers and find it. 222. Sing Sing. Great pick, Dan. And we'll see you guys next week.
That'll do it for this episode of the BTB Movie Club podcast. Thank you as always for listening. We know we enjoyed ourselves. We hope you did too. Have yourself a great week. We are partnered with the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.